So I want us to discuss on this issue that whenever someone visits your house, whenever a visitor comes, your parents will ask you to come out to greet the visitor. Or you as a parent, whenever your visitor comes, you bring out all your children to come and greet the visitor or to greet the visitors. To you, it is nothing. You just want your visitors, your friends, to see your children. And you want to introduce your friends to your children, and that is what our parents do. That is what they have in mind, to introduce us to their friends, to their relatives. But then, by doing this, you can't tell the heart of man. The heart of man is evil. The heart of man is wicked. We don't really know. You can never know the heart of man until you come in contact with that man one-on-one. That is when you actually know who the person you've been relating with is. Whenever you have visitors, let me use for those of us who are parents now. Whenever you have visitors, please, the visitor is your visitor. It is not your children's visitor. You don't have to bring out all your children. You have 5 kids, and then you have visitor, you bring the 5 of them out. You start from the first person to the last person to introduce them to the visitor. As if that is not enough, you start mentioning everything about them, the level they have attained in life, the classes they are, if they are brilliant, everything concerning them. You start narrating the whole story to the visitor. It's totally wrong. That is totally wrong. You don't have to do that. And some go to the extent of the visitor will ask your child to come closer. You equally ask your child to go closer to the visitor. And then the next thing you see, the visitor will touch the child on the head. How are you? Some on the shoulder. How are you? Some at the back. I'm not saying that greeting is bad. Greeting is never bad, can never be bad. But what is bad is taking advantage of that. Nobody has the right, nobody, whosoever, nobody has the right to touch you on the head, not to talk of touching your child on the head. Nobody has that right. But we allow people to touch our children on the head because we believe we know them. They are our friends. They are our visitors. They are our relatives. And so when they request for your children to come closer, you push your children forward. And then they will touch the children and ask how they are. Meanwhile, you have already told them everything about your child. It's totally wrong. Very, very wrong. If you are a parent and you are doing this, please, I would like you to stop because you are not going to see the results now. Assuming the person you are introducing your children to is someone of a negative mind, you will not see the results now. You are going to see it in the future. When your children must have grown, that is when you will see that result. So many of us have our children in the universities, and your child is in the university and is misbehaving. Your child is misbehaving. Meanwhile, when this child was with you, the child behaves well. But now that he or she is in the university, he or she is now misbehaving like someone who didn't come from a home. And you don't know what is wrong because there is no way you can know what is wrong. I'm not saying that every visitor that comes is bad. No. I'm just trying to curtail us on how we relate with people. You need to open your eyes. Most of the times when you are talking to your friend about your family, about your children, and maybe you are talking about the positive things happening in your home, the happiness, the joy, and think that your friend is truly happy with you, they will pretend like they are happy with you. They will rejoice with you. But deep down inside their heart, if they have never experienced that thing that you are telling them, it will make them sad. The next thing is to harbor hatred and evil for you. Not to talk of when you push out your child for someone to touch your child on the head in the name of knowing how your child is. That is totally wrong. You are trying to cage that child spiritually. So many women, when they give birth to babies, because in our culture, you will have visitors that will come to, say hi to you, to thank God with you, to see the newborn baby. A lot of us are so social and so casual that you'll be so free to give out a newborn baby to a visitor in the name of being your friend, your bestie. Your bestie is here with you. And you give out your newborn baby to a visitor to carry for you. Can you tell the spiritual background of that your bestie? Can you tell? Your bestie might not be evil. That is, as a human being that he or she is. Might not be evil, might not have any negative thing in mind. But your bestie might be possessed by a demon without knowing it. And do you know it's possible for someone to be possessed, but the person is not aware that he or she is possessed? I hope you're aware of this. Someone can be possessed by a negative spirit without realizing that he or she is possessed. And your bestie might fall in this category. And then you give out your newborn baby to your bestie. That spirit in her will start reacting immediately. That spirit in that your bestie will start reacting immediately. And that is why a lot of children are initiated from birth without the parents knowing it. You have to be very careful for these new mothers, for these new moms. Your child is just like your treasure. Your child is just like your bank account. Because you will not want to release your account details to any other person. So why will you release your child to your so-called bestie? Some will go to the extent of asking their bestie to take care of their child while they go out to come back maybe in an hour's time. When you come back, you're going to still meet a healthy child. Your bestie can even take proper care of the child. But here we are talking about the spiritual aspect of it. How spiritually clean is your bestie? Do you check your children? Do you check them to know if your child has been initiated? Initiation sometimes starts from childbirth without knowing it. So many children has been initiated from the moment they were given birth by the so-called visitors who comes to congratulate the woman. Your child will be initiated not just into all this obanje or whatever. No. Some of us who have this like grown-up guys behaving like girls and girls behaving like boys, some of them were initiated at birth. And then when your child starts growing, of course you will not notice it, but at a point, all these things will start manifesting. And you will think it's peer pressure. Meanwhile, they were initiated from birth. So I'm going to tell you what to do in case you notice this happening. If you're a new mom who has given birth, you have a child, a newborn baby, or you have a little child, and then you have this visitor that visits you, and you, to avoid the visitor saying that you are hard or whatever on the visitor, you decide to give out your child to the visitor to carry. If that visitor carries your child, please, I want you to focus your attention on that visitor. Never you for a minute remove your eyes from that visitor, no matter who that visitor is. Even if the visitor is a reverend father, even if the visitor is a pastor, no matter who that visitor is, never you for a second remove your eyes from that visitor. That minute you removed your eyes is enough to initiate that child. And how do they initiate? If they do not touch the child on the head, because maybe as a newborn baby you are going to cover the child's head with cap. If they do not touch the child on the head, they will initiate that child through the eyes. Through these normal eyes, these natural eyes that you are seeing. And there is no way you will ever suspect anything of this. You will never, ever suspect anything of this. And how do they initiate? Through the eyes. By looking at your child consistently without blinking. But to you, you will see that they are admiring your child. That is what you will believe in. When you notice such, please walk straight to that person, your child. The moment you take your child, that initiation will no longer be complete. Assuming that is what the person was doing at that moment. Take your child from the person to cut short everything. We have to be very careful. For parents who always bring out their children for them to come and say hi to the visitors, and from saying hi to the visitors, you will tell the visitor the class your child is in, the school your child is attending, how your child's academic performance, your plans, your future plans for your child. You narrate this story to your visitor. And then your visitor, in order to show the child that he or she loves the child very much, will want to hug the child and touch the child. In case you have ever witnessed this in your house, that your visitor hugged your child and maybe just touched the child on the head, it can be a kind gesture. It can mean nothing, but we can't really tell which one is genuine and which is not. So I'm giving us this teaching based on a general, that's on a flat level, whether it is genuine or not. If your visitor has ever touched your child on the head, even for once, please, I will want you to do this. I want you to get a coconut, a very ripe coconut, and then you use that coconut and pray. After the prayer, you open the coconut from the top. Bring out your child. Either you do this inside the bedroom or you do it outside. And you are going to use that coconut water to wash your child's head. While you are washing your child's head, I want you to rebuke every negative power that the child, that someone might have inflicted upon the child. Rebuke every negative power. Okay? And then you request for the presence of the Holy Spirit. Let the Holy Spirit possess that child. Use coconut water to wash the head of the child. A lot of children in school do not perform academically well. Yes, some are born that way. It is a natural occurrence. They need some time and more effort for them to pick up in school. But some is as a result of all this touching in the head. Is as a result of that. You can't really tell who is who. Your bestie is not your God. Your bestie is not your God. So don't assume that your bestie can never ever do anything bad to your child. Your relative is not your God. Your relative is not your God. So you don't assume that because you are bloodly related to this person cannot do anything to my child. Don't assume that. This teaching is just on a general level. If they have ever touched your child on the head, whether you notice anything going on or you didn't notice anything, please just get coconut and you pray very well. Use that coconut to wash the head of your child. Empty the coconut water on your child's head. And don't eat that coconut. Don't allow your child to eat that coconut. And if you have a child who is not performing well in school, like I said earlier, it can be a natural occurrence. That is why it's always good to, when you are getting married, one of you has to be brilliant. Amongst the couples, one person has to be brilliant. If both of them are brilliant, then that's beautiful. But both of you cannot be just like there, dumb, nothing. It's not good. It will always affect your children academically. So it is always good that you marry someone who is sound upstairs, who is brilliant. Your children must possess your qualities and the qualities of your spouse, so that when they are in school and then you notice that they are not performing well, and you know that you are sound, you are brilliant, or your spouse is sound and brilliant, I want you to do this. More especially, there are children who will be performing well in school at an early stage, and at a point, they start going backwards. When they get to a certain stage, they start going backwards. Yes, when they get to that stage, we say that it's peer groups that causes it. You know, because they play a lot, they interact with their friends a lot, so they don't focus any longer on their academic, and then they start dropping down. But then, when it gets to this stage, you help them out physically. You engage them more in academics and less of games, less of watching television, less of using handset. But whereby you have done all these things and it's not working, I want you to practice that teaching that I gave about using coconut water, honey, and sugar to bathe. It will restore your child's brain back to normal, back to how it is supposed to be. I want you to practice that on your child. Because most of the times, it comes as a result of the hands that people must have touched on your child's head every now and then. And this is one thing that we Africans are known for. I don't know about other countries, but Nigeria in particular. Whenever you see a child that doesn't belong to you, a child that is not yours, the next thing people will do is to touch the child on the head. It is very wrong. You don't do that. If you know you have been doing it, stop it now. The reason why we are teaching this is because so many evil people are now using that as an opportunity for them to test their powers, for them to test their charms. When they prepare a charm and they don't know how to make use of it to see how potent that charm is, the opportunity is for them to touch any child on the head. It is not going to react immediately. Your child will not fall sick immediately. Nothing will happen to your child. Your child can even grow into a man or into a woman, and then everything will start manifesting. And then as a man, there's nothing to show for it. You can't do what your fellow men are doing. You are not moving forward. You are not going backwards. You are just stagnant. A woman, the same thing. You are not doing anything. You don't have any means of income. You depend on men to give you the money. And then the men will be using you like a football, up and down. To get married will be a very big problem. And nobody will ever suspect that what is happening to you started right from the time you were small or when you were born. Nobody will ever suspect that. But if you are an adult and you notice some funny changes in your life, maybe you've been doing well, but at a point you start going backwards. We look at so many ways when we are searching for these problems. We look at so many ways, but you will have to start with this ABCD part of spiritual exercises. You start with it. You get that coconut. Coconut is for everybody. There is no age limit. It's for everybody. What coconut can do for a newborn baby is what it can do for a man of 60, 70 years. It is still the same coconut. So you get the coconut, okay, and use it to wash your head. But more especially, when you are an adult now, and you notice all these things, it is not just using only coconut this time around. I think I gave us this teaching the last time. You are going to get palm oil, the one that you get from Akwu Ojukwu. Akwu Ojukwu is totally different from the normal palm fruit you know. You get the palm oil from that Akwu Ojukwu and apply it on your head. Pray. In whatever you do in life, make sure you pray. You pray and rub it all over your head before you use the coconut water to wash your head, okay? After some time, because I know that there will still be oil left on your head, on your hairs. After washing your head with the coconut water, you leave it for some time before you can now use soap to wash it off entirely. If you are an adult, this is what you are supposed to do. But for children, because they haven't grown, that spirit that is dragging them behind is still within the age limits that those children are. So you use the coconut water for them only. So instead of we parents being the cause of our children's problem, and then we turn to start looking for solution to the problem. It is better for us to avoid that problem. Your visitor is your visitor. Let your visitor face you and you alone. You can handle your visitor. Stop bringing out your family. So many girls are still in their parents' home up till now, not married, not to talk of having children of their own. Why? Because whenever the visitor comes, your parents will ask you to come out. Come and greet the visitor. This is my daughter. She stays in Lagos. She's a banker. She read mass communication. She read this. She read that. And you think that visitor is happy that you have pretty girls who are ready for marriage, who are doing well on their own, and you are advertising them to the evil ones. And what do you want those ones to do? Of course, when they get back home or get back to wherever they are coming from, in order for you not to enjoy the fruit of your labor, because they know that very soon you are going to enjoy the fruit of your labor from those of your children, they will block your children's way of progress. They will block their way of progress. And then you have your daughters in your home who are still at the age of 35, some 40, some 47, some 45, still living with their parents. Not that they are ugly. These girls are pretty, they are beautiful, they are doing well. They are getting money, but they cannot marry because no man notices them. No man is asking them, how are you? No man wants to know whether they are women or not. All they meet in their lives are men that can use them for play. That is what they need in their lives. And this is as a result of what you, the parents, cause for them without knowing it. Stop showcasing your children. Let your children showcase themselves. Their talent will speak for them. Their gift will speak for them. Don't speak for them. Don't show the world what your children can do. Allow them, that the talent will push them out on its own, and the world will see them at the right time, at the time when your children will be able to protect themselves. Don't allow people to know everything about your children. Don't allow people to know so much about your children. It is very wrong. It is very wrong. When they know so much about your children, you yourself will equally suffer when those children are suffering. If your child is not happy, you as a parent, you can never be happy. Our happiness comes from our children. That is how God has made it, and that is how it is. That a parent is happy, rejoicing, always healthy, is because the children are doing well. The children are taking proper care of the parents because the children are happy. When they are not happy, you can never be happy. You can never be happy, no matter how you pretend to be. Stop allowing people, for those who have little children, stop allowing people to touch your child anyhow. I'm equally talking to adults this time around. So many of us are so loose. So loose. You don't know your yes and your no. You don't know which one is which. You don't have limits. Wherever you go, anybody can touch you anyhow. As an adult, I'm not talking about children now. Anybody can touch you anyhow. All in the name of we are being social. Nothing is happening. Something is actually happening. Most of the times when they touch you, you don't know what has taken place. You don't know what they have done. Yes, everybody cannot be evil. Some people are nice, some people are genuine. But then we have more of the devilish ones, more of the wicked ones, who will want to bring you down just for them to rise, forgetting that you cannot rise by bringing your fellow human being down. You cannot rise. So if you're an adult that allows anybody to touch you anyhow, it is equally wrong. It is equally wrong. The reason why I don't talk much about adults is that we know how we can take care of ourselves. But for our children, who doesn't know anything, you yourself, you the parents, you don't even know how to help your child when it comes to spiritual cases. That is why we have to be more careful with our children. I remember as an adult, yes, because I was married, I'm still Yes, I was no longer single at that time. We traveled to my father's village, all of us in my family. Everybody, we came back from wherever we are, and we all traveled together. And after the ceremony, I can't remember what took place. After the ceremony, on the day we were supposed to go back, everybody packed their luggages and came outside just to say hello to relatives around. And then we met one of the king's men who came by and was chatting with us. The next thing I saw was the man just tapped me on my shoulder. And I equally realized what he did. And I tapped the man back on his shoulder. He turned and started looking at me. He didn't say a word. The next thing, he tapped my sister on the shoulder. But my sister didn't tap back. And years after, the effect started manifesting. My sister started having pains on that shoulder, which lasted for years. She got her healing through prayer. And I told her, I realized what the man did, and that was why I had to tap the man back. And that is what I want to teach us. When people touch you for no reason, no matter where they touch you, for no reason, nobody has the right to touch you anywhere. I always say that. I find it difficult touching people whenever I'm chatting with them. Even if I want to laugh, I want to fall like a mad woman, I will fall on my own. I won't come near you. And I don't like people touching me when we are chatting. So whenever you touch me, I will touch you back. Or someone will hug me. If you hug me and I notice that your hand has gone to any part of my body, I will place my own hand on that same part of your body. That is how I do it. I was in my office one day when a woman came. The woman came in. The next thing I saw was the woman just touched my head. That she loves my low cut. I smiled and I said thank you. And then she turned her back to go. I got up immediately, hugged her and touched her head and told her that I love her with her. Yes, that's how it's done. So whatsoever she has put inside my head, I've returned it back to sender. You don't have to, don't be too loose. Don't be too loose. Don't assume that because you are in the township, everybody in the township is a white man and a white woman, that they don't know anything about diabolical powers, they can't do anything to harm you. Don't assume that. Mind yourself. Maintain your lane. Speak for yourself. Don't speak for another person. A lot of people are suffering now as a result of these things that I've just mentioned. Handshake, more especially for men. Handshake, handshake, handshake. More especially when you travel to the village. Definitely you are going to shake because you are a man. Definitely you are going to shake, but make sure you anoint your hands. Make sure you do so. You anoint your hands before you shake. And whatsoever anybody does to you openly, return it back immediately. Do it back immediately. The moment you do it, whatever it is will no longer manifest. But when you don't want to do it because you don't want people to see you as someone who believes in diabolical powers, you don't want people to see you that you are now local and archaic, you don't believe in all those things, and then you keep quiet. And tomorrow you start complaining. Your business is now going down. Money no longer stays in your hand. You know that this is one of the reasons why so many people are complaining of money not staying in their hand. These people are making it. They are making money, but money can never stay in their hand, can never remain in their hand. This reason is one of them. Somebody will make enough money. Somebody can get the sum of 500,000 naira today, and you have already planned what you are going to do with that 500,000 naira. The following day, a sickness greater than that 500,000 naira will come and carry the money. And another week, you will make 1 million. 2 days after, death will arrive, and you spend that 1 million naira on burial. So many people are complaining of this. You don't have savings. You can't even save. Despite how much you make, you can't save. Whenever money comes into your hand, the money vanishes into where you cannot tell. It is called hot hands. In Igbo language, akaneroku. It is called hot hands. Money can never stay in such hands, and it comes as a result of diabolical powers. It is not natural. It is never a natural occurrence. A lot of people believe that they are extravagant. It's not all about being extravagant. When you check your spiritual life, you will now be able to tell if you are just extravagant or if it's someone that has already manipulated it, so that you will never make something meaningful in your life. Money can never stay with you. Money will come to you but will not remain with you. Whenever money comes, it vanishes. It vanishes. There are so many things that causes this. One, it's either it's an ancestral cause or it's from the marine. But if it's not two of these that I just mentioned now, then know that it is the diabolical powers. And people get that through handshake. Through handshake or through exchange of money. Something from your hand will pass to the person's hand, or something from the person's hand will pass into your own hand. That is how people suffer through these things. And this is why I always advise people, when you want someone to help you financially, ask the person to transfer the money into your account. If you don't have a bank account, go to bank and open an account. Let people transfer money into your account. Even if the person is the highest diabolical person in the world, and he transfers money into your account, the money is no longer the person's money. When you withdraw it, you are not withdrawing the person's money. You are withdrawing so many people's money. When you use it, nothing will happen. But when they give you this money by hand, you requested for 2 million, 3 million, and somebody decides to bring that money cash to you, and you take it cash, there is still a way out. When you get that money, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Even if you are so much in need of cash at that moment, what you will have to do is to take the money to church. Spread it before the altar of God. Pray over that money. After the prayer, from that money, from the middle of that money, pick up a currency, just one currency. I didn't say tithe. I said one currency. Drop it inside the offering box or drop it on the altar of God. Whatsoever you do with the rest of the money will go well. But when you don't do this and you take the whole money to venture into whatever you want to venture into, you will not see a single currency. You will still not see the reason why you ventured into that thing. Everything will just go down into the ocean. There is still another way. The person gives you the money in cash. Take that money to the bank. Deposit it into your account. And give yourself 3 days before you withdraw that money. If you withdraw the money and use it, whatever you are using it for will go well. Because you are not withdrawing the exact money that you have deposited into the bank. You are withdrawing other people's money. So a lot of people, their hands has been, their good luck, or how do I put it? Yes, their good luck has been taken away from their hands through handshake or through exchange of gifts from your hand to somebody's hand or from the person's hand to your hands. We have to be very careful. You see these hands. You see these are palms. It is so powerful. When you are using it for God's work, it works like magic. When you are using it for diabolical powers, it works like magic. These palms that you are looking at. You have to be very careful. Extremely careful when you are dealing with people, touching of head, handshake, hugging, touching you on any part of your body. You have to be very careful. That is why I came in contact with one man who is a traditional ruler. He came with his entourage to my office. They came for us to do what we were supposed to do for them. And they were supposed to pay. And the man brought out the money, went to give it to my colleague, a guy. My colleague told him that he's going to give the money to me. The man looked at me, refused to give me the money. The next thing he did was to put the money inside his hand fan and asked me to pick that money up. I refused. Whatever he knows, I'm equally aware of it. Yes, I'm not a traditional ruler, but I know about all those things. He insisted that I should collect the money from the hand fan, and I refused. What I did was I asked him to drop the money on the floor. He refused to drop it on the floor. I asked him to give it to his boy. Let his boy give me the money. When he noticed that I was so adamant, he decided to give the money to the boy, and the boy gave it to me. If I had picked that money from his hand fan, I would have been in trouble, spiritually. I would have been in trouble. You will see it as an ordinary hand fan, but it's not an ordinary hand fan. It is not an ordinary hand fan. I'm telling us all these things so that you be careful with the way you relate with people. Learn all these things. Be very, very careful. Exchange of gift from hand to hand. Exchange of money hand to hand. Handshake, hugging, touching of head in particular. For children, parents, be careful. It is your duty to protect your child. Now that they are still small, it is your duty to protect them. Don't push them into the hands of Lucifer. Don't do that. Nobody is your bestie. If you don't know it now. Nobody is your bestie. That's children that you're looking at are your best friends. They are the ones that will take care of you. They are the ones that will be at your bedside on your last day. That your bestie will not be there. That your relative will not be there. It is your children that will be there. So don't jeopardize their future. Don't push them into the hands of the evil ones. If your children doesn't want to come out to greet your visitors, allow them, let them be. Let them be. Most of the time, our children's spirits are greater than our spirits. Their spirits are greater because they're still innocent. So there are times when a child will behave somehow. You don't have to shout on that child and demand to know the reason why the child behaved like that. It may be the child's guardian angel that is actually reacting. You want your child to come out and greet that prominent man, that prominent woman, that wealthy man, and your child refuses to come out, and you start hitting your child. It's totally wrong. It is the spirit in your child that is actually reacting. The spirit has already seen what you are not seeing and decided to cause the child to be stubborn so that the child will not go out. Don't push your child out to go and greet your visitors, so that your child will grow according to how God has destined your child to grow. That at the appointed time, your child will do this, your child will do that, your child will become this, your child will become that. Don't stop your children, don't limit your children, all because of your besties and your friends. Nobody is your bestie. Nobody is your bestie. You can have friends, but nobody is your bestie. Your bestie might turn out tomorrow to become the greatest enemy in your life. And that is the worst thing that can never happen to anybody. So it is better you don't have any bestie, but you have friends, because no man is an island. But then, it is written nowhere that somebody should touch your child or touch you on the head. Especially those of us who always attend deliverance program. You attend the deliverance program. You don't know the man of God. You don't know the powers the man of God or the woman of God is using. You don't know where he or she got his powers. And during deliverance, they'll be touching everybody on the head. Touching everybody on the head in the name of their delivering you. Some are delivered, yes. Some are delivered. Some are not. Some, after that deliverance program, their problem will start. Somebody will not have a problem, but because you attended the deliverance program, your problem will start. So we have to be very careful. Your head is your crown. Your head is your crown. Touching you on the head is as good as removing that crown from your head. If you want to remove your own crown, no problem. But don't remove your child's crown. Your children are your future. Your children are your backbone. They are the ones that will carry you on the last day. They are the ones that will make you happy. Not that man of God, not that woman of God, not me, not anybody, but your children. How you fight for them now will determine how they will fight for you in the future. So you have to guard them jealously. Now that they are still young, still small, that they don't know their left from their right. until they grow up. And when they grow up, they will never forget all the teachings. They will never forget everything that you have done so far for them. They will grow with that mentality. They will now know how to take care of themselves, spiritually and physically. So this is the teaching I want to give us based on the request somebody brought up that I should teach this. Parents who have grown-up children, you want your child to get married. You want your child to go out and get a job. You want your child to go into business to succeed, so that when you request for money, they will give you. But whenever you have a visitor, you bring out your child for introduction. Stop that. Stop doing that. That you have children is even enough for someone to be jealous of you. Not to talk of when you tell the visitors everything about your child. Progressing in life. Meanwhile, there is something else that your child is still asking God for, which he or she hasn't received from God. And you're already advertising your child. Allow your child to advertise himself or herself. They know how to do that. Allow them to advertise themselves. Do not advertise them. Allow their talents to bring them up. Allow their talents to showcase them to the world. Okay? So please, let's learn this and save our children and save ourselves from running around. I have seen so many parents in their old age still running around from one church to another, from one spiritualist to another, in search of solution to their grown-up children's cases. When you don't have peace of mind, when your children are not happy, you will not be happy and you will not have peace of mind. At the time you will relax to enjoy your children and enjoy that which they have, it is that time that you are now running around in search of solution to their problem. It's not good for you as a parent, and it's equally not good for your children. But the only way we can avert this is by stopping all these things of touching. If you notice someone who wants to touch your little child on the head, avoid that. Prevent that person from doing that. The person will not beat you. If the person doesn't like it, it is better for you. Let the person go his or her way and allow your child to be. And whenever you see visitors, stop pushing them. Go and greet this person. Go and greet them. Leave them. When the person draws nearer, let them greet the person. But never you allow the person to touch their hair. Don't do that. Some of them, their destinies have been hijacked and hidden as a result of all these things. So if you notice that your child is not behaving the way you know he or she is supposed to behave, if you notice any changes in their behavior, please take that spiritual exercise of using coconut water, honey, and sugar to bathe by 12 midnight. Perform that exercise for your child. It works like magic. Perform that exercise for your child. And you as an adult, if you can ever remember if someone has ever touched your head, or that somebody gave you money, or you gave somebody money, and you started noticing downfall in whatever you are doing in life, then you perform the one using akwojubu. Rub it on your head. And use coconut water to wash your head. Equally do the same on your palms. Rub it on your palms. Use coconut water to wash your palms. After a little while, you can now use soap to wash off that oil from your head. So please, I hope we have learned a lot. I hope we've learned a lot, because I know that a lot of people do practice this. They do practice this. So please save your children now that you can save them. Don't give them that stress of running around in the future in search of solutions to their problem, which you are part of without knowing it. If you have any question to ask, you can go ahead and ask. I believe we've all heard what I said. Please, if your parents are still alive and you are still single, please tell them what I said. Tell them what I said, that is wrong. It's wrong for them to tell the whole world who you are and what you can do. It's totally wrong. They should allow the world to discover you by themselves. Your talent, your gift will bring you out and the world will see you. Your parents doesn't need to introduce you to the world, because by so doing, they are going the wrong way, because they will always meet the wrong people and never the right people. So if you have any question to ask, you go ahead and ask. Keep your questions coming. I said, Chris, I said Akwu Ojukwu. Akwu Ojukwu is a palm fruit. It's a palm fruit, but it's different from the normal palm fruit you know. And is a little bit on the high side in price. The normal palm oil you know. That is, the oil from Akwu Ojukwu is a bit high in price than the normal palm oil you know. Akwu Ojukwu is mainly used for spiritual exercise. You can use an ordinary palm oil in performing spiritual exercise, but this Akwu Ojukwu performs better, more than ordinary palm oil. It's Akwu Ojukwu. Then you get the black palm oil from the palm kernel of that Akwu Ojukwu. The black palm kernel oil is not the Akwu Ojukwu. It's not the palm oil from Akwu Ojukwu. The palm oil from Akwu Ojukwu is red in color, but it's different. It is different. From, anyway, when you go to the market and ask those who are selling it, they will tell you the difference. They will show you. Okay, Angoreka. That's using the Akwu Ojukwu and the coconut is mainly for adults. If you think that someone has, maybe exchanged your destiny or hijacked your progress or whatever, you apply that Akwu Ojukwu, the palm oil from Akwu Ojukwu, you apply it on your palms, rub it all over your hands, and apply it on your head equally. And make sure you are praying. And after doing that, you get the coconut water. Use it to wash your hand and wash your palms, your hands. Then you give yourself some time before you can use soap to wash off everything. So if you notice any of these things that I've just mentioned, just try and get this and use it. All right. Okay, Chris, you are not in Nigeria. I don't know if that Akwu Ojukwu has any English name. I don't know, but when you Google it, you are going to see it. So if you Google it and if there is any English name for it, just type Akwu Ojukwu. Google it, type Akwu Ojukwu. You are going to see it. If you are in Nigeria, it's everywhere in the market. For the children, I prefer you practicing the spiritual exercise, Angole, using the coconut water, the honey, and the sugar for the children to return them back to normal. Okay, I prefer that. But whereby you don't have all these items, you can get just a coconut. And then you use the coconut water to wash your child's head. And make sure you are praying for the child as you are doing that. Okay, Chris, the real spelling for Akwu Ojukwu, A-K-W-U, is for Akwu. Then Ojukwu, O-J-U-G-W-U. Or sorry, O-J-U-K-W-U for Ojukwu. Akwu, A-K-W-U. Ojukwu, O-J-U-K-W-U. That's the spelling. Angole, you are welcome. So keep your questions coming, please. This is time for question and answer. Keep your questions coming. Angole, did you type the name? All right. Chris, thank you. God bless you too. Yes, Afam, bathing with salt is a spiritual cleansing of its own, with salt and water. You can use ordinary salt, you can use sea salt, but a very little quantity of it. In case you have this skin type that reacts to anything that is not water. Just a little quantity of salt, either the sea salt or ordinary salt. It's a spiritual exercise. But if you want to perform it, it's something you can do for 3 or 7 days at a stretch. Okay, so please keep your questions coming. This is time for question and answer. Time for question and answer. Yes, Nancy. It's palm kernel oil. Yes, annually. No, annually, what I'm talking about 7 days is for spiritual cleansing using salt. You do it for either 3 days or 7 days. But if you want to do this teaching about the Akwojubi, it's just once. Afam, alligator pepper is equally for spiritual cleansing, but it's mainly used by spiritualists. Whenever we perform spiritual exercise, after performing that spiritual exercise, we use alligator pepper to cleanse our body. It is not a must. There are so many ways that we can cleanse our body. Like if I don't have any alligator pepper, I will light an incense. And I will take that incense round. I use it as a cleanser also. Yes, realize there is nothing you can do in this world that will work for you without prayer. That is why I say before you do all these things, you must pray. The reason why we perform all these things is because a lot of people are not the prayerful type. A lot of people are so weak in prayer. They are so tired in prayer. A lot of people, when they pray, they're not even sure of what they are praying. And that is why the Holy Spirit teaches us all these things. But I still insist that you need to pray. You have to pray. Prayer remains the key. It is the ultimate. If you want all these spiritual exercises to work well for you, you use prayer. You use prayer. You pray before you practice them. Okay? You pray before you practice them. But all these items that we are using now are nature. They are natural. They are the things that you and I know. And there's a way that they work. If prayer can take you 1 year before it starts working, nature can take you 6 months for it to start working. That is why we apply nature whenever we are performing any spiritual exercise. Relax. Sorry, what is actually, okay. Relax. You ask what is a spiritualist. It's not what is a spiritualist. It's supposed to be who is a spiritualist. A spiritualist is someone who is gifted, but not as gifted as in being a priest or a reverend father. A spiritualist is someone who is gifted to see in the spirit, to act in the spirit. So many of our men of God, so many of our women of God who are pastors and priests cannot perform what we are performing. We, the spiritualists, we are not allowed to go to the altar to preach because we are not called that way. Being a spiritualist is a different calling of his own. Being a priest is a different calling of his own. These are callings. We are all called by God, but in different ways. We work for him, but in different ways. The spiritualist makes use of nature to work for God. We work for God using nature. What we see in the nature, an ordinary pastor and an ordinary priest cannot see that. That is where we differ. But we are all working for God to save humanity. Exactly. Whatever you do, you must back it up with prayer, whatever you do. Because that work requires spoken words from you. And that word that you are supposed to say is supposed to be your prayer. You pray. Since we are making use of the power of God, you call on God. If it's the native doctors who believe in the deities, they call the deities whenever they're doing whatever they're doing. We that have called ourselves as the children of God, we call on God. And calling on God is prayer. Okay? Okay, Goldstone. Oh, all right. And so, okay, thank God for you. Thank God. So you have to keep your eyes open and see how it goes. Okay, brick. Okay, why did Jesus use sand and saliva to heal the blind man? You ask, why do we rely on the created egg and alligator instead of the creator? I mean talking to God. And I want to know, why did Jesus, whom we refer to as God the Son, why did he use sand and saliva to open the eyes of the blind man instead of asking the man to receive his sight? We learned it from Jesus. We didn't learn it from anywhere. What is the spiritual benefits of alligator and what ways can it be used? Alligator is mainly a cleanser. That's what it is. Alligator is mainly a cleanser. That's what alligator is used for cleansing and nothing else. Okay, so keep your questions coming. Keep your questions coming. It's just like the story in the Bible. What's the name of that man? Naaman, the one with leprosy, that met with the man of God. The man of God didn't pray for him, remember? No, he did not. The man of God didn't even touch him, not to talk of praying for him, but asked Naaman to go to the stream and bathe 7 times. That is cleansing. That is that cleansing that we are still talking about. Naaman obeyed, went into that stream and bathed 7 times. And the leprosy left him. He wasn't touched. The man of God didn't pray for him, didn't touch him. He just obeyed. And water was used to cleanse him of that leprosy. Love for me, whenever you want to use alligator pepper as a cleanser, you will have to get either 7, if you are going to get 7 pieces of alligator pepper, then know that you are going to do this for 7 days. If you are going to get 3 pieces, that's 3, how do I put it, 3 seeds, then know that you are going to do it for 3 days. For the number of seeds you get from alligator pepper should be the number of days you are going to do this. It can be done in the morning. I prefer doing it in the morning if I am to use alligator pepper. You are going to use it to pray, to remove every negative energy. That is the work of alligator pepper. It removes every negative energy that you might have attracted on a daily basis. After praying that prayer, you put the alligator pepper in your hands. Use it to just be rubbing on your body, every part of your body. After that prayer, you throw it away. That's it. Mario, I gave a teaching about this. So I would like you to visit my page and watch that post. When you watch it, you will know how you are going to stop them from monitoring you. It's not something I can start all over now. It's a long process. Love for me, thank you. You're welcome. Keep your questions coming. Keep them coming. Okay, thank you, Mario. Keep your questions coming. Please, we are all here to learn. We are all here to learn. Ask your questions. Ask, so that others can learn from you. Ask your questions. And don't forget to share this live stream, please. Share it and like. Double tap to like. And keep your questions coming. Thank you so much. Those who share, thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much for those who gifted me. Thank you so much. I'm still waiting for your questions. Okay, Ngozi, do you want to talk to people? Okay. I'm still waiting for your questions. Thank you, Ngozi. Thank you for liking. Thank you so much. Keep your questions coming. Keep your questions coming. Hello, Angie. You're welcome. Thank you. You joined us so late. I know you are late. All this, thank you for joining. Okay, so please, I'm still waiting for your questions. Ask your questions. Ask. Ask your questions. Don't be shy to ask questions. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. We are all here to learn. Ask your questions. Lord Uche, thank you for liking. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we are done for tonight. Yeah, since nobody is bringing up any questions anymore. But I believe we heard everything I've said so far. Safeguard the future of your children. Save your children from the hands of the wicked ones. Save them. Don't be the obstacle in their life because you are their parents. Don't be their obstacle. Yes, I know you missed. I know you missed. You joined us so late, so late. You joined us so late. But you are spiritually powerful. You know about all these things. You are spiritually powerful, spiritually gifted. So I believe all these things are not new to you. Okay, so I'm going to end this live stream now, and I want to thank everybody. Yes, I know you know. I want to thank everybody who has joined us so far. Thank you so much. For my gifters, God bless you abundantly. For those who shared this live stream, God bless you so much. You did well for me. For those who liked it, I thank you so much. I love you. And I pray that God will visit each and every one of us and grant us our good heart desires in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you so much. And I might come up tomorrow night again. I might come up live tomorrow night. I'm not really sure, but if I don't come up tomorrow night, I'm going to come up on a Saturday night, okay? So I'm going to leave us here. Have a wonderful night and God bless you all. Bye-bye.